Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I recorded anything and that I posted anything. I've had a lot of family things happening this last month, so I do hope you guys can forgive me. But I am here. It is late, but it is here a wrap up for November and then December's TBR. I'm hoping to combine them into one video. Apparently my recording software is not working very well, so we'll see how it goes. So for the month of November, I didn't read a lot of books compared to like October and all whatnot, but again, like I said, a lot has been going on. So I read a total of 9 books, 5 library checkouts, 5 books completed, not all of them from the library. I did DNF, I did adjust it to where the book I actually finished in December. I started it in November, but I finished it December. I just moved it on over to December instead of in this one. So these are the more accurate stats for the month of November. Average rating, 4.52. 2 4.25 books. And then, of course, the others, the 3.75, 4.5, 5.75, and a 5-star were all just one. The shortest book I read was Warrior Girl Unearthed. That is the one that I did DNF, as I mentioned. Shortest listened book was Working for Bigfoot. I only listened to an hour of that, but that's because where I am in this series only correlated with that 1 hour of listening. The longest book I read was the Black Jewels trilogy. I read the middle book, which was Heir to the Shadows. So I finished on page 799, so of course that's popping up there. And then the longest book I actually listened to was The Other Miss Bridgerton, which is the 3rd book in the Rokesby series, which is the prequel series to the Bridgerton series, which we all know from either Netflix or from the actual books themselves. As for other stats, you guys can clearly see all the stats right here. I'm going to go down so you guys can see this too. There you go. Yes, there we go. So yeah, lots of statistics in here, lots of stuff that I just randomly look into, and because I think it's just fascinating to me to know a lot of this information. So here are the books that I read, all of them in the order that they were started. So some of these, this one right here, the very first one in particular was started over a year ago, or last year. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. So of course it is at the very front, but this is technically where the month started. Anyway, so Heir to the Shadows I did complete. I completed that with 4.5 rating, I believe. The Girl with the Make-Believe Husband, which is the 2nd book in the Rokesby series, as well as The Other Miss Bridgerton, which is the 3rd. In the Veins of Drowning, I did technically DNF this book only because I had to turn it back into the library. So I don't fully count it as being DNF because I do want to go back and read it. Warrior Girl Unearthed, again, DNF'd it. Light Lark took me a while to get through. But it was fairly good. Dobre Dobre, which is my nonfiction book for the month. It is a cookbook from Poland. It was a NetGalley book, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. A Touch of Darkness, which is a Hades and Persephone spicy retelling. And then Working for Bigfoot is, of course, the 3 novellas in the one book. So for the Fable Who Did This To You Club, In the Veins of Drowning, again, technically a DNF because I did not get to complete it. The Readathon Rebellion, once my thing catches up to me here, there we go. Light Lark was a 3.75. That one in between Wrath and Mercy were the only 2 I needed for this one. But I did not read between Wrath and Mercy. I knew by the time I was getting to it, it's like, you know what, I really don't have time to read it. So I made sure to complete the final objective, which was all you technically needed in order to complete the readathon. So technically, yes, the readathon was complete because I read all 4 books for the objective. Also, that means Dungeons and Books is complete, which means in January I will be starting a new thing for the. I believe I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently. I think I'm going to roll for the whole of the year, and that's going to be the main game I focus on in the 2026 because I'm doing it differently than the TBR Game Changer was originally created as, I guess. The Herkid 1.0, I had not read the book from there. Herkid 2.0, again, did not read any of the books from there last month. And then my A-star viewer prompt was a 5-star prediction. Unfortunately, it was not a 5-star book. It's only 3.75. But again, I had hoped that this was a 5-star. Like I said, it just wasn't. I did start looking into a new bingo card, which is the fantasy speculative fiction bingo for 2025. It started from April to March. This one was commented, was in one of my comments. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick for you guys. Here it is. So from Colleen 2868, she asked, have you looked into doing the R Fantasy Bingo? It goes from April to March, and you could fill in anything that would fit that you read from April to now, and then you have till March to finish. So many people have video in April, May, but hardly any update vibe. So I went ahead and I replied to her, apologizing for the late reply because it took me a while to reply. But I had heard of it, but I thought that it was something different, I guess, and I wanted to look into it more, but I didn't know you could go back and all that. So I did that, and this is my bingo card at the moment. This is everything from April to like right now, December 12th. So 2 of these books are not on my December thing, but all of these are everything that I completed since April. Knights and Paladins, I did Realm Breaker, which was hard mode, which is the character has an oath or a promise to keep. So that's what basically hard mode. You have 2 modes. You have hard mode and regular mode. Hard mode is stop clicking things. Hard mode is going to be this white background with this little filigree thing on the bottom. Regular mode, it basically means that you completed the prompt, is going to be gray like this one. Anything without a star right here is technically unfinished. Hidden Gem is 7th Champion by Sylvia Mercedes. I don't believe she's a popular author. I'd never heard of her before. I had because I have a lot of her stuff on my TBR. But I'd never really read any of her books. I've never heard of her big on the BookTube. Back when I was on Book Talk, I'd never heard of her. The Bookgram or whatever the Book Insta is called. That is the one I'm also using for my November TBR. My November new release for Herkid 1.0 and 2.0. I'm giving myself a bit of a leeway from November to 1.0 when it comes to the new release, just because again there was just a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to go into it. The next prompt is published in the 80s. I do have a set of books I actually recently purchased, very much an impulse buy. It's a lit RPG, so I think that they would count as for this. But they are published in the 80s, and it's a genre I've actually been really interested in. High fashion means it has to have something to do with, in particular, the clothes, so that one's going to be a little challenge for me. Down with the System, I chose Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. Down with the System, they were taking down the vampire system, so I counted that as being part of that, and I did hard mode, which was not a government system. So technically, again, not a government system. Impossible Places, I chose Lightlark because it's an island trapped in a storm that's magical. You can't explain that away with physics. A Book in Parts, Heir to the Shadows, had 4 or 5 parts to it. This is the technical cover of what the book looked like. Absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Gods and Pantheons, obviously you have to have a book featuring gods' pantheons. It was hard mode if you could do more than one. I could not do more than one pantheon. The only book I read so far is Lightning Thief. Last in a series, I'm currently listening to Unforgiven by Lauren Kate, which is the final book in the series. And it's hard mode if it's over 4 books. This is technically book 5, so. One of their book club books, this could be a previous or a current, Song of Wraiths and Ruin was a previous book club. I did not read it with the book club though, so, but I did get it. Parents. So essentially the main character has to be protecting a child. And you get hard mode if the child is a prominent character. So the first book actually does, the first novella in here does technically cover it. Epistolary. Basically, the book has to have some sort of like letters and such going back and forth, or at least in it. You get kudos for a full book of that. I wonder, because it was science fiction, still fiction. I'm wondering if several places people are typing would count for that as well, because that entire thing is all over DMs. Published in 2025, The Malice of Moons and Mages. I don't have that anywhere else, so I know. Hard mode because it had less than 1,000 ratings on it. I did double check before I put it on here. It did have less than 1,000 because I only put it on here in November. And it did come out months ago. Author of color, self-explanatory. Self-published, I chose The Ruin of Kings. Biopunk, basically it's like steampunk, I believe. Elves and dwarves, you got bonus points. Bonus points if the elves or dwarves were characters in there. The LGB, you just had to have one of your main characters be LGB. Adaptation, something with an adaptation. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now, because there is an option here for reread, so because of that, I went ahead and now this one was okay. So let me put it here. I did swap this out. I was able to substitute one square. So I swapped out this one with that one, an adaptation with having to read 5 SFF short stories. I swapped it out because I didn't think I would ever do that, and I'd already read this one, and there's an adaptation for it, and it fit. Foreigner, Trial of the Sun Queen. Technically, the main character is a foreigner in the country that she is in. Recycle, which basically you had to recycle a square, I believe it was. Use a square from a previous year, as long as it does not repeat one on the current card. So I went ahead, looked through the squares, and A Dance with Dragons was one that I was able to cover with it. Cozy, I chose Lesbians and Lattes. A generic title, there's a bunch of books out right now, like A Court of This, A Court of That, or A Dance of This. So basically you had to find one, and Court, it's literally right there. You got bonus points if it had more than one thing, but it's literally one word. Not a book. So basically, movie, TV show. So I'm thinking of maybe doing like Percy Jackson in there. The TV show, because that would count. Oh, there you are. Hello. And then Pirates, self-explanatory. As of right now, it looks like I will technically get a bingo, but I think you're supposed to do a blackout. I have to double check. Alright, so you get Reading Champion Flair assigned to anyone who completes the entire card by the end of the challenge. If you already have it, you'll get a Roman numeral indicating the number of times you've completed a bingo. So no, I mean, the goal is to get a blackout. If you don't complete a blackout, it just means you didn't get the bingo. It's not that big a deal. The whole point of it, though, is to have fun, and that is what my whole intention is to do. So if I don't get a blackout, that's fine. By the time I was putting some stuff in here, I might have forgotten a few things about it. So when I do next year's bingo in April of 2026, I will be able to go on there and be like, hey, I don't know. I'm being weird, I know. So the number of books So this is basically the calendar of showing when I started things, when I ended things, things like that. You can see at the end there, I was definitely doing a little bit more versus the beginning. But again, I had a lot of stuff come up last month that just really took a lot of hits. My family and I did. So anyway, genres. I did completed two historical fiction, completed one fantasy, technically two if you can count the novella. Completed a nonfiction and one romantasy. I listened to two audiobooks. I know it only says one, but that's because it's counting the one that I own and not the one I borrowed from the library. So listened to two audiobooks, read one ebook, one hardback, one paperback. I owned one of the books that I actually read, and then I borrowed 4 from the library. And here are the actual ratings for the books that I completed. The Girl with the Make-Believe Husband was a 4.3. Dobre Dobre was a 5. Light Lark 3.9. The Other Miss Bridgerton was a 4.35, and A Touch of Darkness was 4.9. Again, it's not counting the Black Jewels trilogy book that I have because technically the book is not complete. I completed a book in the book, but I did not complete all 3, so therefore the book itself is not complete. Same with Working for Bigfoot. So technically, no, I did 3 fantasy. Yes. I will be doing December TBR again. I know it is late. I apologize, but as I said in the last video, I have been having a lot of family stuff going on, but I really wanted to record today, so I'm kind of working with the momentum, working with the energy as I work through just what has happened in my family. For December TBR, I have 2 readathons. One technically hasn't started yet because it's just like a little mini readathon. And then the Herkiad 1.0 and 2.0. The 2 readathons are Lightfall 2025 and Sails and Tales, which is a new one. I don't believe this one has ever been done before, so that's really exciting. So for our December TBR for Herkiad 1.0, I did finally complete Assassin's Apprentice. So I will be showing y'all that bingo board and all that in a moment. But so this one is complete, which means I did roll for a new TBR, new challenge on that, which I will show you right here, or wherever it is. I don't know where it is yet. And I got book and recipe. So there is some really just good looking chocolate covered gingerbread cookies. Apparently I believe they said that they're someone's favorite in the book. I have to double check, but the book is Inside Darling Girl. I do intend to finish that book because I'm enjoying it. And I will be making the chocolate covered gingerbread cookies this month, and I will be posting a picture of it for you guys to see once I do the wrap up or the weekly info dump or whatnot that I do. Herkiad 2.0, I still just have these 3. So this is the Lightfall bingo for 2025. I'll post a link to the video kind of explaining more about it and going through all the prompts and such. Here, this is like I said, this is Aurelium Academy. Each of these prompts in this little square here correlate with one of the shops that are in Aurelium, or in the little town. Kind of think of it like how Hogwarts has Hogsmeade. So this is Aurelium Academy's, or Aurelium's version of Hogsmeade. That's how I'm thinking of it. So obviously you'll see here, so we have to have a blue cover, a 4+ rating, a book with 300 to 400 pages, a cozy read, one with a white cover, a new release, a winter setting, and then a standalone. One of the things that I'm actually really glad that she did is that we could have a book count for multiples. So you could read a cozy standalone that is 350 pages and you have 3 prompts already done. I am planning, I know at least one book I'm going to do for this, but I don't think it'll end up counting towards much else. Maybe the 4+ rating. It all depends. Anyway, the prompts here are all from just things to do during the week. So bake, read when dark, donate a book, or it just says donate, so you can donate whatever. Play a game. I do a family game night every Sunday, so this one will be easy for me. Suggest a book in the Discord. Lightfall ASMR. So I guess you have to have that playing very possible. DIY a card, drink a hot drink, window shop, stroll, watch a movie, sweet treat, share your read, finish a craft, which I really do need to do because I have 2 blankets to make for people, check in on a friend, and then light a candle. These are all things, again, just to do during the week. So Sales and Tales is a choose your own adventure readathon. It does have a bingo board, but I'm showing you this one first because it actually has all the prompts on it. As you can see, I'm in the process, or I have completed 3 of them already, or 4, excuse me. I'm in the process of 2 and I've already completed 2. So the captain studied, read a story on leadership. One of the ones I did was a map, which is to have a book with a map on it. That one was Assassin's Apprentice, which was really good. Gold foil on the cover. Port, acquire new goods, read a recent purchase. So yeah, you guys can read what it is. I will also be posting a link to the video below for that. These are the books that I have chosen for that prompt, for that readathon. So I have Dragonfly and Amber, Assassin's Apprentice, Unforgiven, Queen of the Darkness, Spells for Forgiving, Harry Potter Film Wizardry, The Housemaid, The Seventh Champion, Together We Burn, Majesty, Hush Hush, Northern Lights, our little free space here, Diplomacy of Wolves, I actually have to double check, I don't know, no, this was the 90s, The Kingmaker's Daughter, Fellowship of the Ring, A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, The Six Loves of James I, What Once Was Mine, Spellbound, The Golden Compass, Legendborn, The Awakening, There Are No Saints, and The Duke and I. All of these, again, you're not going to know really what prompts they are because this bingo board is not filled out by her. You go in and you fill out the bingo board yourself, either doing it by hand, so you'll cut out the prompts that she has and then you'll toss them onto the bingo board wherever you want them, so your bingo board will not look like mine. Your bingo board will be however you decide to do it. It could be just a way you decide as you're reading. So like if I was doing as I was reading, I would have put the first 2 here, it's free space, and then put the last 2 here, and hey, bingo. But instead I did this bingo board before I did that. So yeah, it is what it is. So for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do 1.0, this is what I'm working with for right now. Obviously I still have 2 here. I still have these 3 I need to do. And the November and December I did not do. Again, I'm giving myself a little bit of freeway on November just because of everything that had happened. So because they're not taking stats, I was told that I could do it however I wanted to do it. I am trying to follow the rules for that challenge, but again, November just had a lot going on. So I'm giving myself a little extra freeway with November, but not December. So anyway, here is the bingo board. The one I'm currently working on is right here, Books and Recipe. Once I get done with Darling Girl, oh my gosh, that was an itch in my ear, I will be able to move on to another, which I will definitely let y'all know once I do. Booktuber recommendations is complete, which I'm really excited for. I'm really glad that I got to finish that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to tune in next time for, I'll be doing the Goodreads Choice Awards winner reaction. Obviously I have not recorded that yet. I haven't even seen what they are, so it'll be a blind read. I did vote on ones that I think should have won, so we'll see if the ones I voted on matched up. I did not vote in every category because I have not read the books that were in every category. I only voted on the books that I have actually read. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to come back next time for Goodreads Choice Award winners reaction, more TBRs. I do have book reviews that I do want to do, as well as wrap-ups and all this other stuff that I'm doing. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.